Well, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. You are at a Cobblestone Collective Minecraft Education Edition lesson. If you've been with us before this week, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. We're excited to have you all here. Now we're officially going to get started in about 5 minutes. We'll do introductions and all that stuff a little bit later, but for now, we just want to get you warmed up inside a form where you're going to be able to communicate with us. Okay, because students, you'll notice you do have a Q&A, but that Q&A is going to get all crazy busy if you all try to communicate with us there. So instead, students, we're going to get you to communicate with us inside a Microsoft form. Teachers, if you want to use that Q&A, you go ahead and use that Q&A. But let me turn it over to Mary, and we're going to go to the next slide where we're going to just start with a little bit of trivia, and the form link is on there. You can get that queued up on your computer. There we go. You'll see it, the cc.page/earthform4. So you need to get that form loaded. Maybe it's on a new tab. Maybe you've got a device beside you. However you can get to that form, load it up, and Mary has a few questions for you. Take it away, Mary.
Oh, wonderful. Hello, everybody. This is great. Well, as you know, the session that we have today is all about going green. And so there's so many things that going green can mean. And we're going to take a look at a lot of that today. But our first question is going to be, what country, because we know that you're joining us from like all over the place. Our first question is, what country do you think has the highest recycling rate? Try not to Google it. Try to just take a guess and figure it out. And also, if you can, figure out what the rate is as well. And we'll see whether or not anybody gets close to what the country is and also what the rates are. Okay, so that's the first question. You're going to be, again, putting it into that form at the bottom, the cc.page/earthform4.
Nice, and sometimes those answers take a while in, but we have an amazing person joining us who I think is the best shout-outer of them all. Coulter, do we have anything coming into that form yet? Names we can shout out?
We do. We have Mr. Robinson's grade 6 class, Miss Johnson. That I think both of them have great answers right away, because that's where I was thinking as well for Miss Johnson's class. I was thinking in that area. I was thinking a little bit more maybe Scandinavian as well. That's what came to mind. I don't know if I could peg the country, but we see that Jacob from Toronto in grade 6, Amirsa, Tony, great answer, Tony. That's thinking outside the box too, I think. That's great. Alexis, Carlos, great stuff. We got lots of answers loading. It does take a second for you to get your questions in, so I do expect some more to populate. But thank you so much for using that form. We are going to be using this form throughout the day, so keep this handy, keep ready, getting ready to resubmit your answers as we ask you more questions throughout our workshop. And we can see that Manur and Benny, also, Benny, great answer. Thank you for providing that. And Cheyenne, and I hope I pronounced your names correctly. My name's Coulter, so I always had teachers incorrectly pronounce my name, so I don't take any offense, and I hope you don't take any offense if I mispronounce your name. So thank you for bearing with me. But and Miss Robson class quickly corrected me on that one. So thank you, Mr. Robson. I think we're probably ready for the answer, Mary. Are you ready to pop that the answer up?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let everybody know. So, Coulter, you were saying you were thinking Scandinavian countries over that area. So it's Germany. Germany is the country that has the highest recycling rate. Did anybody guess anything above 40%?
Yeah, Lynette guessed 61% from Germany, but we didn't see too many numbers in there. We got Sebastian that guessed 56%. We even had Ellie who guessed 90% but was thinking of a South American country. So we had some really good answers.
Oh, that's great. And actually, the rate for Germany is 56%. So they are the highest recycling rate of in the world. And I don't know. I mean, just as a thing to know about as well. Canada is a lot lower than that, and maybe our expert's going to talk a little bit about that later on as well, because we're at 24%. So Canada can do a little bit more to get our recycling rate up there as well. The U.S., you guys are doing a lot better. If you're out there out from the US, and I think US was something like 54%, something like that. So, oh no, not 54, 34, somewhere in there. Anyways, I'll look it up as well. But yeah, so well done. So our second question, again using the form down below. Our second question: what objects can be made from recycled paper, recycled plastic, or metal? Just throw out a whole bunch of objects that you think can be recycled and be made from all that recycling. Again, our expert later on is going to be talking about that. So it'd be really cool to see what you think right now.
As we have some answers populating here, it's great to see some returning individuals from yesterday and your enthusiasm. Finley, welcome back. Make sure we're using this forum to communicate with us today, Finley. As I know everybody wants to use that Q&A, but please make sure that we're jumping in and using this link, thecc.page/earthform4, to communicate with us and get your shout outs. Sierra, you're right, milk carton, that's a great little answer. Cars, we have an answer coming in, and that's great. Macalina, airplanes. Landon, bottles. Jacob says shirts. Jason says cans, jugs, and water bottles. Crystal, awesome, cards and puppets. Way to think outside the box there. Mr. Mendoza's grade 6 class, thanks for joining us. Roads and clothing. You're right, we do have lots of clothing that is made from recyclable materials. Yeah, so we've got some really great answers coming through. Lori, boxes, toys, and much more. What else do we have?
It sounds like we actually have quite a few recyclers here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Maybe we can pop up our final question for our warm-up?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, a nice simple one, maybe. How many times can an aluminum can be recycled? How many times can an aluminum can be recycled? Give us a number. And just while you're doing that, I got the scoop on the USA. Recycling rate for USA is 35%. 35%. So there.
And for those of you that are just joining us, we're just diving in with a little bit of trivia. Don't worry, we're going to do formal introductions in just a second. But if you missed it, there's a form, the cc.page/earthform4. That's, students, how you're going to be able to communicate with us and answer these awesome questions. How many times can an aluminum can be recycled?
We had some great answers coming in from Sam, who's guessed 12. Sanvi 4, Jaden 3, Deacon 6, Robson's class 6 as well. Kennedy has 5, Harrison has 4. Alvin thinks it's an infinite amount of times. Awesome, Alvin. Thanks for providing that guess. And Sarah and Henry, and thank you very much for Lane, who guessed 10 times, and Abigail. Landon from grade 5. Wow, so many times so many individuals are participating in this. My screen is freezing up because of all the responses we're getting in here. Mary, do we have an answer for us?
We do, and actually, I'm sorry you said all those names. I can't remember who it was that said it. An infinite amount of times. It's the most amazing metal to be using for recycling, as it can keep on being recycled forever. So that's a really cool thing to be looking at. Yeah.
That's awesome. We had a lot of individuals throw in the infinite, like Finley and Slavko and Benny, who also supplied the infinite number there. Miriam also said no limit. Ingrid, so that's awesome. Thanks for chiming in, and make sure that we click on resubmit, because we're going to ask you some more questions throughout today, and we want your participation throughout our workshop. And when we have our expert on the line, you're going to be able to ask some Q&A time and have some answers to your questions coming from our experts. So make sure you have that submit button, maybe just in a different window, and you can put it aside for now, but I'm going to pass it back to Mary and we'll get started.
You betcha. And actually, I'm going to pass it over to Michelle. So Michelle, take on.
All right. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Coulter. We have more people that we're going to meet. Coulter, you want to flip to the next slide for us there? Thank you so much. All right, there we go. And we can even, yep, we'll go back there. I'll even send myself live too so you can see me. So who am I? My name is Michelle Armstrong. I am one of the co-founders of the Cobblestone Collective. We are thrilled to be with you here today. Thanks to Minecraft Education, who is making this all possible. We're going to spend some time learning about being green inside Minecraft. Then we're gonna meet a real life expert in the field, and then we've got a challenge for you. You are gonna be building something in Minecraft, and there are prizes available for those of you that enter. So be ready to learn lots. Be ready to put what you learned into your build, and especially have fun. I'm gonna turn it back to Mary. And I think Mary is muted, which means she owes us all a quarter.
No, I was so not going to do that. Oh man. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. I'd like to start actually this off, especially since we're talking about recycling and sustainability, that we begin this session by acknowledging that we're all gathered on land that's been inhabited by various Indigenous peoples for thousands of years. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection and stewardship of the land on which we live, work, and play. So our team today is going to be myself. I'm going to be presenting and introducing people and helping you out figuring out all this Minecraft stuff today as well. And then I have a guru as well that's going to be my hands today too. And that's Coulter, who is here. So Coulter, if you want to go to the next slide there, we'll introduce ourselves. And Coulter is Coulter, what's your official title today?
I am the shouter outer and the Minecraft builder, I guess you would say. So I've been working and playing in Minecraft for years now and building with Minecraft for the last 5 years at least, since the Education Edition came out. And I'm just excited to learn with you and alongside you and get your ideas on how I can do my build and our build challenge as best as I can, and sharing some ideas and collaborating with you out there is really going to help me out.
That's great, Coulter. And we also have in the background, being very quiet and just watching and doing everything for us, is Charity. So Charity, I don't know if you can give us a little wave and a hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm behind the scenes making sure you see who you need and they're on the screen and everything's there for you. Enjoy your workshop.
Thanks, Charity. That's great. Perfect. All right. Well, it's good to be green. So what we're going to be doing today is we want to make sure, and if we go to our next slide there too, Coulter, we're going to be open to learning. We've talked about this. If you joined us for any of the other workshops, that's what we really just need you to be. Think about recycling and sustainability. And this is really important as well for anyone just joining us. Pause and play. So as we're going along, anytime that you feel, oh my gosh, I'm not keeping up, I'm losing this, I'm missing a bunch of things, just hit pause. Because we're here, we stay, we don't go away anywhere. So once you hit play again, you're going to just start right back up where you paused it. So you're never ever going to have to worry about that. So today, relax, and if you have to go out for nutrition break or anything like that's happening, if you're in class, then feel free to do that and come on back afterwards, right? Take some breaks. And the last thing, of course, explore, build, and have fun. All right, it's practice time. Coulter, do you want to go back just one slide there? We are going to, because we hopefully now have everybody in with us, we're going to just go back through into our Google form one more time to make sure that we're all there. So practicing for us is going to be, could you let us know where you're from and also what your Minecraft expertise is like? So what kind of level are you at? Are you a newbie? Like me, who's now knows how to get through doors and can do all that kind of thing and follow lovely little orange sparkles? Or are you an expert? Are you somebody that just, oh, you're in here all the time and doing your thing? So we'd like to know. So let us know where you're from and what your level of expertise is. And Colton's going to do his shout outs.
So we're just going to let some things load and let everybody catch up. But it is important to know that we're broadcasting live around the world. And throughout the last couple of days, we've had people calling in from the Middle East. We've had people calling from South America. We also have a big contingent here in Canada and the United States, which is really exciting. But it's really cool that we can see individuals like Kennedy from Glendon, Alberta. And we have some Calgary experts. Shout out to Nicole and Deacon as well. He's there with Kennedy. We have Rashid from Reno, Nevada. Awesome, welcome. And we have, and Mr. Wars class from Sexfifth, Alberta. Awesome, thanks for being here. What else do we have? And where are we calling in from? Kincardine. We have a big contingent here from Kincardine over on Canada's west, or Ontario's west coast, which is cool to see. Thank you for being here. All of her from Glendon. We have Ontario Alexis. Thanks for joining. St. Catherine, Sammy. Ooh, shout out to St. Catherine, Sammy. I'm originally from Niagara Falls. My parents live in St. Catherine, so I'm quite familiar with your area. And we have Brantford, Ontario. Mr. Snell's class, thanks for joining us again. Welcome back. We have Guelph as well. Mr. Robson's class, I'm getting that down. Thanks for being here. Miss Chung's class from Toronto. Awesome. We got so many people from around the world. Kenya Gupta from India. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. So we have even some New York individuals and Bowmanville. So I can go on because this list is populating, but I'm going to pass it back to you, Mary, so we can get started.
That sounds great, Colton. That's amazing. I love where everybody's coming from. That's one of the funnest parts for us, isn't it? So today's plan then, when we about going green. So we want to find out what does it mean to be going green? Like, what is that all about? So we're going to start off with taking a look at that a little bit there. Then we're going to actually go to a nearby facility that is a material recovery facility that we have an expert that's from there that we're going to meet in just a few moments. And then after we've talked with Dan and we've done some things with him, we are going to go into Sustainability City in Minecraft and take a look at the green office building. So there's a building in there that we're going to take a look at today. And today's challenge is actually a little bit different than all the other challenges that you might have done already if you've been already starting yesterday and this morning. So today it's going to be an artistic design that you're going to do. You get to be sculptors, you get to be architectural artists or artistic architects, whichever way you want to take a look at it. And that's where Colton is going to do just an amazing job later on when he goes into play, because as he said, right, he's like, I'm not too sure what I'm going to be building. And that's the fun part about today, is that it's just going to be organic. We'll see what ends up happening. After that, we're going to give you some resources to help you build and help you create your sculpture. Then we're giving you lots of time to plan and to build as well. And we just say, make sure you think outside the blocks. That's what today's all about. All right, let's go on. Just reminding everybody, make sure if you need to pause and you can come right back to where you were again in what we're doing. So what does green look like? Okay, let's go on to the next one. So we've got some vocabulary here, and I know you've been doing other vocabulary if you've done some of the other sessions, but this one was like, we have an optical sorter and ferrous and an eddy current separator and pulp. And I tell you, I have no idea, or I had no idea what any of those actually meant. And me writing these words, it processes the flow of PVC or PET, household waste plastic. I have no idea still what that means. And that's why we have our expert that's coming on. And Dan Orr is going to be the person that can help us with all this. I did like the fact that ferrous, and I kind of almost got that one. It's something that has iron in it. That's good, right? Fe, ferrous. The eddy current separator, who knows? It's a machine. It does something, and it's in the material recovery plant. But we're going to find out more about that, and as well about the pulp as well. Okay. I haven't got the right words in there. Actually, we'll change that off. I just realized that I'm looking at that, going, that's not the right wording in there. All right. Let's meet our expert. So everybody was telling us where you were from. And sorry, can you just go back for a second, Coulter? Oops, go back. That's That's great. Uh-oh. That's all right. We'll get there. One more there. Oh, it's so close. Okay, no matter what, we are in Canada. We're in the township, the County of Northumberland. And as you can see where that red dot is, we're right down on the Great Lakes, so in Ontario. And on the other map that's off to the right-hand side, it just shows we're in between Toronto and Kingston is where Northumberland County is. I'm living in, and I know you can't see my mouse or anything, but I'm living in Brighton, which is on the right-hand side of the screen. Oh, thank you very much, Coulter. And Dan is in Cobourg, which is down to the left a little bit. There, good job. And then the plant that we're going to be talking about today is in Grafton, which is right between us. Okay, so that's where we're going to be today. All right, let's get meeting Dan. Dun, 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 dun. So Dan is the Education and Communications Coordinator for the County of Northumberland, and he's going to talk to us today about the Material Recovery Facility in Grafton and what all it does and what they do there. They take household recyclables and they get to sell it to do some of those things like, as you said, making t-shirts and fleece pullovers and new cars and all kinds of stuff. But anyways, he'll talk about that as well. So Dan, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am.
Great. There he is.
Hi.
So Dan, would you like to say a few words about yourself and what your position is or any of that before we get started?
Yeah, sure. So, like Mary said, my name is Dan Orr, and I live in Ontario, and I'm glad to know that there's people all over the world tuning into this. So I have been in the world of waste, as you could say, for a number of years now, and helping to educate residents how to properly recycle, but also how to reduce their overall waste consumption and where that waste goes if something can't be recycled. So today I'm going to talk about what happens in our little corner of Canada. And I know at the beginning we were talking about world recycling rates. And that's really important. And Canada is a little bit behind. But the thing to remember is that each country kind of recycles different things and they have different ways to recycle. And then you can break that down into different provinces, and then also into different cities. So Ontario has a blue box program where residents can set out things that can be recycled. And then municipalities pick up this material once a week from the curb and then go and take that material, sort it, and then sell it, like it says there in my bio that we can talk about. So I have been known to talk about recycling for 2 hours at a time because there's just so much to talk about and there's so much to learn. Because what you put out on the roadside is just one fraction of what happens to that material. The big thing that happens is after it gets picked up by the truck every week. But I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and talk about recycling. So we're just going to take a piece of what happens, and that is that material recovery facility. We also call it a recycling plant, but no recycling actually happens here. What municipalities do is we collect it, we sort it into like categories, and then we sell it. So I think we have a YouTube video on queued up, which we're going to play. The sound doesn't work, so I'm going to do my best to kind of explain what's going on the best that I can. So I guess whenever we're ready to do that, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
You bet. Dan Coulter's just getting that loaded on his machine now, but just so excited to have you here. And while Coulter's just getting things sorted, we have another Dan who has joined us, a student, I'm assuming. He's like, hey, it's me, Dan. So Dan, welcome. And thank you, Dan, for being here. All right, Coulter, are you ready to go?
Maybe. And you know what we could do as well is we actually there's a recycling waste or recycling game that we actually have as well that people could, I think this is going to come up fairly quickly, so we'll be all right, but we wondered about whether people were really thinking about where things actually go into which bins, because as Dan said, we do have 4 separate bins here in Ontario. So we are supposed to put things in the green bin or the gray bin or the blue bin, or it can go to the recycling community as well. So if we can't get this to go right away, oh, it looks like he's got it.
Let's try it. And of course, love just technology. Take it away, Dan. Tell us what we're seeing.
Okay. Well, this is just an introduction, really. So this is the outside of our facility in Grafton. It is quite large. It was built in 1996. So Northumberland's been recycling for quite a long time. So this is your typical garbage truck and recycling truck. It looks like it's all getting thrown in the same spot, but there is a divider in that truck. So here all the garbage is being delivered to our landfill in Brighton, Ontario. So after the truck delivers garbage to the landfill, it comes to our facility in Grafton and dumps the material. So you can see our loaders now picking up that recycling and putting it in this large conveyor belt. This material goes into sorters, and people, as you can see right here, are pulling out different materials. So you can see cardboard, you might see them pull out plastic bags or other types of paper. So most of the material you put in the recycling, at least in Northumberland County, is sorted by hand. So you can see here people pulling out plastics and that kind of thing. That's Carl. You can't hear, and I'm not sure what he's saying. It's probably all really good stuff. But so we do have some technology. So Mary, you had put in optical sorters there, and this is one. So we have what we call a fiber optical sorter. And how these work, if we can press pause for a second, how these work is that it's basically as the material's coming through on this conveyor belt, there's lasers shooting down at the conveyor belt. And lasers will bounce off the material back into a computer. The computer can tell what type of material it is and then shoot little blasts of air to take it to a different part in the recycling plant. So very cool technology. So we can sort paper into different categories like that. So the computer says, hey, that's, you know, office paper, or that's an envelope, or that's a cereal box. So that's one of our pieces of technology we have. Now, since this video was shot, we also have another piece that is for #1 plastic, and we had that at our screen as well, and that's our polyethylene terephthalate, which is another name for basically a water bottle. We have the same kind of optical sorter. It detects the water bottle and shoots it to a different part of the recycling plant. So we have a couple of those types of machines that make our job a little bit easier, but provides a really good, clean sort. Okay. So once we have all this material sorted out into like categories, which Carl's probably saying this right now, is we bale it. So coming out right here is milk cartons, coffee cups, juice boxes. Okay. So all of that in that bale right there, that's all it is. Okay. And what we do is when we have enough of these big bales of whatever it might be, in this case, cartons and coffee cups, we then go and we sell it. Oh, can we press pause here? Actually, if we can go back a little bit, because there was something else we talked about, Mary, in your slide. So yes, and then once we sell it, we sell this to companies that actually then recycle this material into new things. What you see here right now on your screen, this is called an eddy current separator. So what an eddy current is an electrical current. And what it does is it repels aluminum. So a soup can, a tin can, is a ferrous material, which means, yes, it's iron, but that also means it's magnetic. Now, aluminum is a metal, but it is not magnetic. So how we capture pop cans off of a sort line is we pass the material under this eddy current, which then shoots it over to another part of the plant, so that by the end of the day, it's just pop cans. Okay. So those are our 3 big technology. We have a fiber optical sort, we have a water bottle optical sort, and then we also have this pop can optical sort. Everything else is basically by hand. And then you can see material going into the baler. So I'm not sure what else. And there you go. There's some finished sorted product. That's just shredded paper. Okay. And there's some more putting things into different belts, more sorting, that kind of thing.
Sorry, Dan, that's awesome. I love hearing this. We've got some students sort of wondering, why are we learning about this? And students, remember, we're going to be asking you to build something in Minecraft. Yes, we are getting to Minecraft. All of these tips that Dan is giving us and tips we're going to learn inside Sustainability City, these are the tips you need to know in order to win the challenge that we're putting out. And we're going to tell you more info about that in just a minute.
That's right. So Michelle, with you saying that as well, this is earlier on when we were doing the hints beforehand, asking what sort of things were made from recycling. All of these things are things that can be done, but we also talk about the fact that instead of sending everything to recycling, we also can try to reuse things as well. And so reusing things is what Daryl Wakelam, who is the artist in the next shot, he's an artist over in the UK who, on the next slide there, Colton, who takes all recycling and then creates art from it. And so that's kind of an inspiration for us today too, is the fact that we're going to be thinking about recycling, about resources, and how that all is going to work in our Minecraft world as well. So I'm not sure if there's any questions there for Dan, because that's, if there are, Colton, then that's right now would be a great time to actually hear about them. But Dan, I was amazed actually when you were talking about how all these different sorters can actually tell that much about separating things. So like the aluminum cans and the metal cans, the things that were metal. How fast do those things go through those sorters? Like how much metal can you do in a day?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. all I will say is that a lot. So the material we bring in basically is designed to process or sort through 16,000 metric tons a year. You could break that up into each day, but that's a lot of material, and we go through it all, and it can probably handle more as well. So it's a really hard question to answer, but it's a lot.
Yeah. So really when we were talking before about Canada being a little bit lower on recycling, really, I think maybe in Northumberland County, that recycling level is a lot higher, isn't it?
Well, yes, so higher than the Canadian average, yeah. So in Ontario, the average is about 49%. In Northumberland County, it's 44%, but Northumberland County is on its way to reach our goal of 75% in the next few years. And that's because we have things now with like a green bin program that accepts food waste that we're now keeping out of landfill. And we're increasing and improving our recycling program as well. So in the next few years, if you ever check in with me, we're going to be far above that 44% that we're at now.
Oh, that's very cool. That's neat. Okay. Well, Coulter, do we have any questions for Dan?
Yeah, we have a few questions, Dan. One coming in for, where did it go? Because it just got populated more. From Lincoln, just asked, how long have people been recycling for?
People have been recycling as long as people have been making stuff, basically. Okay, and really, in our world today, everything people make has the potential to be recycled. But what it comes down to, is there anyone out there that's recycling this stuff? Okay, so right now in Ontario, the recycling program is for food and beverage packaging. So things that you would buy in a grocery store, that kind of stuff. But there's all kinds of stuff that we don't recycle, and that's because there's no one there actually recycling. Now in Northumberland, like I said, in the county here, we started in 1996, but there was a long time ago. I mean, you can go back to the 1800s. There were things called rag and bone men, and they would travel the streets and they would ring a bell and they would say rag and bones, and people would bring out their scraps and scrap metal, and then that person would go and turn it into something else. So the world has a rich, long history of recycling things and turning new things into old things.
Wow, interesting. Madame Pryor's class has come up with this question, that they saw the bales of shredded paper and wondered how is aluminum baled so it can go on to be reused. Is it a similar process or?
Yeah, so I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie WALL-E, but if you have, WALL-E was this little robot that put garbage in its stomach and then crushed it into little cubes and then stacked it. So that's what we do. So the same way we bale aluminum paper is the same way we bale, paper is the same way we bale aluminum cans. It gets crushed into these bales and we sell it like that. And in terms of pop cans, yes, what we talked about earlier was aluminum can be recycled an infinite number of times. And when you but the only way that is going to happen is if you recycle that pop can. So don't throw it in a garbage can, never throw it in a ditch or something like that. Always put it in for recycling so that can be a can once again. And really, here, how it actually works is that in as little as 90 days, the pop can you put in a blue box is back on the shelf as a brand new pop can. So it's pretty cool and works quite fast, actually. The most amount of aluminum in the world is made from recycled aluminum. We produce very little raw aluminum now, so and that's because of recycling. So that's good news.
This one was a good question. Jackson asks, what items are least recyclable?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it comes down to plastic. And because there are certain amounts of plastic that are recyclable and a lot that is not. And really what that comes down to is there's no one out there recycling it. So a water bottle, there's lots of people recycling water bottles, lots of companies, okay? But when it comes to, let's say, saran wrap, there's not really anybody out there recycling saran wrap or styrofoam. Styrofoam is a really great example of a plastic product that doesn't get recycled a lot. So out of the few materials that we collect, plastic is the biggest problem. But in terms of a tin can or an aluminum can or paper, that's never really an issue. It really comes down to plastic, unfortunately. And there's a lot of plastic out there.
Awesome. Dan,
That
thanks
is
so
great.
much. Mary, you're going to say something. I'll let you speak.
Oh, absolutely. No, I just was going to say that I think about all the different, just all the things that you've been saying as well. That it is about having something out there to be able to be recycled. Sorry, I shouldn't have. I had my microphone on and I shouldn't have. I was just in my head, kind of formatting all that. Don't worry about it. I'm good. All right. Is there one more question there, Coulter?
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions, so it's kind of tough. I guess a lot of the questions have come in. Do you have like a quantitative number that you could provide with how much is recycled per day? Do you have a weight, or is that fluctuate? Or another question was how many things can be recycled in 1 year? How much have you recycled over the last couple of days? Things like that. So is there a weekly goal, or is there a goal that you try to reach?
So what we do is really we look at this at the end of the year. So we have to record all our numbers, and we recycle about 10,000 metric tons a year. So you can break that down by day easily. But what I will say is there are certain seasons of the year that produce more recycling than others. And a good example here is Christmas, where there is massive amounts of cardboard boxes or other kinds of materials that we collect. And there's also times in the summer where you might collect a lot of pop cans, where in the winter you might not collect that many pop cans. So it's kind of hard to give an exact figure because of those different seasons and variables that happen. But the short answer is 10,000 metric tons. If you divide that into 365, that'll give you some kind of idea as to how much on average we would recycle.
Awesome, Dan. And I guess this question is for me, and this will be the last one before we get into some Minecraft. What kind of advice could you provide to the students to maybe encourage others to recycle, or to get themselves recycling a bit more? How can they be more mindful of the products that they're buying and how to recycle these things properly?
Great question. Yeah. So I think at this point, like I said, in Northumberland, we've been recycling since 1996. I'm pretty sure most people that have access to recycling programs that are on this call are participating in one way or the other. And if you're not, I just want to remind everyone that the things that we do recycle all come from this planet. So if you look around wherever you are right now, and you look at all the paper, or you look at all the wood, all you have to know is all of that stuff was trees at one time. And when you recycle paper, now you don't have to cut down as many trees to make new paper. You can reuse this stuff, okay? And as everyone on this call knows, trees are pretty important, and I'm pretty sure you know the answer why, because they provide us air to breathe, as well as habitat for other animals that live on this planet with us. So if you look around and you see windows, okay, or glass, all of that is made from sand, okay? If you look around and you look at all the metal, all of that comes from rocks in the ground, okay? And when you look at all that plastic, that comes from oil in the ground, which is a fossil fuel. And the only reason it's there is because of life that lived on this planet millions and millions of years ago. Okay, so when you think about, oh, this is just garbage, nothing's really just garbage. It was something at one point in time. And when you zoom out, if you just imagine yourself zooming out from the planet Earth, and now you're in space and you're looking back at it, just remember, there's only so many trees on this planet. There's only so many rocks on the ground, and there's only so much oil in the earth. So if you're not recycling, or you need a good reason to recycle, I'll just leave that there.
So great. I'm going to dive in here, Dan. I think that's just fantastic. Students, so you're going to see, we're going to dive into Minecraft here very, very soon. And some of you might be wondering, well, wait, what does recycling have to do with Minecraft? Everything Dan just told us is hints and tips for you to put into your Minecraft build challenge that Mary's going to tell you about in a bit. And as well, we're going to be exploring Sustainability City in Minecraft, where you'll get a chance to think about what recycled materials are in Minecraft. So you're going to see all of these dots are going to get put together very, very soon. So I'm excited. Mary, where are we going next?
Oh my gosh. Well, yes. First of all, let's say thank you to Dan for being here. And Dan, I know you're going to be taking off and taking on the rest of your day. So we appreciate this so much. It's been wonderful having you with us, and thank you for being our guest today and our teacher, our educator as well. It's been wonderful.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks again for inviting me and having me on here. Just wishing everybody a good rest of their day and enjoy it.
Thank you. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, I know that we actually are going to be now taking, as Michelle said, a lot of what we were just talking about is going to come out now with us into Minecraft. So I'm hoping that everyone has already put Minecraft Education Edition onto their devices. If you haven't, again, remember that pause and play. You can always stop and pause, put it on, and then come back and join us again. So I'm going to have Coulter actually. He's going to be sharing his screen, And first of all, though, Coulter, can you show us our vocab? Because I do have a vocabulary here for the sustainable city on that good old green building. And it, again, is all kinds of different things that I didn't know a lot about before we started doing this. We know about sustainable now. So being an economic activity that's conducted without depleting the natural resource. Dan was talking about that. All these things that we're using, right? If you're looking at paper, it's all trees, it's all natural resources. We need to recycle. Gray water, though, is going to be interesting. And that was one that I wasn't really sure about when I was first talking about all of this. But it's water that can be reused from your bathrooms, from your shower, your tub, your washing machine. There's a reason to reuse it. We don't need fresh water for those kind of things. We're not drinking it, so it's there. A synthetic wetland is a wetland itself is such an important part of an ecosystem. And so to make a man-made one is what's going to happen in this building that we're going to go visit. And you're going to be able to see how that happens. And it helps filter the water and make it clean again. So again, we're just reusing the same materials, all those natural materials. And again, the water table, that's where the spot where the ground becomes permanently wet forever. So the water table is right at that spot. So soil comes down, water drains in, and obviously it's there. And there's a reason why we want you to know about that too. All right, let's get rid of all these definitions and get playing. All right, Coulter, if you get the next slide up, and actually if you just get your Minecraft up, let's get everybody in and make sure that they know how to get in, okay?
And while Coulter is getting that sorted, oh, I think I'm having, there we go. As Coulter's getting that sorted, we have questions. Everybody's dying to know, what are the prizes for the challenge? So for those wondering what the prizes are, Minecraft themselves have all sorts of cool swag. As well, winners will be announced and highlighted at ISTE, one of the biggest educational technology conferences in the world. So pretty cool and exciting stuff. Teachers, just know you will get all of the information you need on how your students can enter these challenges. So watch your inbox for that. And lastly, all of those asking in the Q&A, is this live? Yes, this is live. So Coulter, looks like we're ready.
All right, so from your home screen, once you've signed into Minecraft using your school account and username, if you have an updated version of Minecraft, you'll see that it says new and featured right here. So we're going to click on new and featured. And then we are going to find the sustainability city. So you can see it's right here. And we click on this, and then we're going to click on create world. And that's going to allow you to join in to our sustainability city. Now, there is another way to get to this sustainability city if you cannot see it on your home screen here. You can click, it's a few steps, so bear with me. So we click on play, then we click on view library, and we're gonna click on lessons, and we're gonna be talking about science. So it's in science, and then additional lessons. And you'll see it pop up in the additional lessons, just a little bit lower, sustainable city. And then we're gonna click on create world, and we're gonna enter this world. And it's going to prompt us into a classroom right away where there's a teacher NPC, a non-player character that we want to click on. We want to right click, and it will provide us a little bit of information about what the sustainability city is. And today we're going to be working with lesson 3. So as you can see, it's loading. It's just going to take a second here. And once it loads, we're going to right click our teacher NPC, click on lesson 3, and we're going to follow the highlighted route that it gives us. So here's my teacher. I right click the teacher, and we're going to use the green building. That's where we're going to head. So I'm going to click on lesson 3, and it highlights this little path for me to follow. I'm going to now open my door. I right click the door to open, and I follow this highlighted path. Just these bright lights popping up from the screen. And if I follow this, and we're going to be following this throughout our exploring time because there's so many interesting places that it's going to lead us. And this is just the little path that it's leading us. So it's giving us a little guide to get there, almost like little breadcrumbs. And you can see here are some other NPCs. So I can always go up to the NPC and I right click the NPC, and this one has the arrow, so it's signifying that I want to click on this one first. So I can click on my NPC. It talks about a large space that takes quite a lot of energy to heat. And our goal with every new building is to reduce how much energy it takes from the pool of resources that we all share. This new building is heated by a network of pipes that exists between the walls and floors. So then I'm going to exit out of this dialog box, and notice that arrow has moved over to this NPC, and it says geothermal. So I can right click this NPC. I can click on the immersive reader button if I want it to be read back to me, or I can read it myself. So if I click on the immersive reader button, it'll open up this amazing tool that will read the content from this NPC to me, and it can do it in a variety of languages too. So I'm just going to press play.
In the winter, the ground temperature is warmer than the air up here. In the summer, the ground temperature is cooler than the air up here. Inside the pipes, a fast-moving liquid made from water and glycol that carry the desired temperatures up into the building.
So now that it's red, I'm going to click on this arrow here and bring me back, and then I click on continue. And when I click continue, a new set of, we'll call them breadcrumbs or our sparkles, I guess, are coming up from the ground. So this is my new path that I want to follow, and it's going to bring me into the building. And this is where you're going to get to explore. You're going to have about 5 to 10 minutes to come in here and explore the NPCs. So it's going to lead me to new NPCs, and this is where you're going to find that new NPC. Right click them, read the content, click continue, and it'll provide more breadcrumbs for you to follow and bring you to the next NPC for all the cool learning about this building and about how they've made it a recyclable or renewable type building. So I'm going to go radio silent here for a little bit, and now it's time for you to go and explore this world and enjoy your learning.
Coulter, I'm just wondering whether or not you can show people the fact that right now in our commands that we have, so the controls, they don't show that when you're going to go into the gray water that you're going to have to swim. And swim is actually going to be something that they're either going to use shift or control to do the swimming. So just to remind people that that's going on as you go down into that gray water.
Yeah, so make sure you can see on my screen, if you press the letter H, you'll be able to get your controls up on your screen. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. And you can see as I'm starting to walk a little bit in the water, the bottom left there, it says to swim down is to press shift. But it's actually going to ask me to sprint. Does anyone know how to sprint in Minecraft? Press sprint to swim. So for me to swim and sprint, I actually have to press control. And I can always double check that by going into my settings and my keyboard and mouse. But if you get lost in here, it's okay to break a couple blocks down if you have to, but you do need to be in creative mode, and we'll switch that over in a second for you. And we'll talk about creative mode. If you already know how to do that, go for it. If you don't know how to do creative mode, that's okay. I still want you just to explore right now, and we'll talk about putting it into creative mode when we start to build. But I can see here that my sprint button is unassigned, so let's make it the letter Z. I'm too excited to hold this back, Mary. I'm swimming.
I'm very, very excited for you because this is amazing. What it's really good to let the students know as well, Coulter, is the fact that yes, we've been trying this over the last week and on the weekend, and Coulter could not get the command to swim. So, you know, if you're frustrated and things like that happen for you too, just take a pause and think about getting into your settings and make sure that you do have that the swim set up so that you're going to have a command for it.
I'm going to say we have about a minute left of exploring time.
But don't worry, even after the minute, we're going to explain what your challenge is and you'll be able to dive back into Minecraft, so don't worry.
Okay, so I'm going to give it a pause for now. And I really encourage you to head on back in during your own time to explore this reusable and regenerating building on your own, because there's so much cool information that even as an adult, I don't even think about. Like, I do always think, okay, well, I turned the sink on and I just washed a pan and cleaned the pan, but the water is not that dirty. What actually happens to that water? And it did take me some time, and I did some research on the gray water and what that actually does, and how we can reuse this water that is just slightly been used, and how we can filter it and make it reusable water. So I really think it's important that we come back into this world on your own. And right now, though, wherever you are, I want you to pause your game. So press escape on your keyboard, top left, and I want you to put your eyes back on my screen, because we're now going to have Mary, who is our artistic expert, going to explain our build challenge today. And then once you get all that information, we are going to change over to creative mode. We're going to find a nice blank area in Minecraft, and we're going to let you begin your build challenge. So let me pull that up on the screen.
Yeah, that's great. If you put the our slide deck back up again, that's wonderful. Just for a moment. So I'm going to talk while Colton's getting that done, because there's just some amazing things that are around. And maybe we have some people that are here with us today from Spain. But in Barcelona, there are some buildings now that are called smart buildings that have these features that's in this Minecraft building, have some of those features as well. There's a plastic that is called an ETFE plastic, and it's a polymer. So it's made with plastic, and it covers this building in Spain. And they have a 95% no carbon footprint. So they now don't have air conditioning even in this building. And look at the way that the building looks. And this is what I love about this, is that they're innovative and they're thinking. And each one of those big pads, they fill up with nitrogen. So there's sensors in all of those pads, and it can actually tell when the sunlight is coming at the side of the building, and it fills up with nitrogen and makes it cloudy, and then the sun can't come in. Now, that building itself as well is just one of the many buildings that are around that you could look into with your teacher in that as well. But I wanted to as well talk a little bit about how your sculpture can look as well. So Colton, you're fine. Yeah, that's great to go to that next one. Bordallo is actually an artist who takes garbage from the city that he is in, and he then creates a piece of art, a sculpture. And very often he has his sculptures right against the side of a building. And so this is just an idea that we want you thinking about for your build challenge. You don't have to build a sculpture that's going to be freestanding. You could have it up against a building as well. And if you go to the next slide there too, Colton, this is one that's right here in Canada. And this was in Moncton, New Brunswick. Bardallo came over to Moncton and they were wanting people to be aware of the wood turtle and the wood turtle's demise with plastic. And so he found all this garbage in Moncton and he created this piece of art. And you can see that his eye is an old tire. I don't know if you can see or not, but in the next slide, we'll go a little bit closer. And you can see right behind Bardallo's head there, that the little sandbox, the turtle sandbox. I don't know if everybody can see that or not, but if you click again, it'll show what that actually looks like as well. One of those guys. And I know a lot of people have had them. So all this garbage was around the city. And so that's the sad part, right? Is that he's able to do his artwork because there's garbage. But be thinking about what you want to have, what do you want the eye to be pulled into? What do you want to see in your art as well? Okay, continue on there, Colton. Coulter, sorry. So our challenge, right? This is our challenge that we're going to talk about. Go ahead. You are going to create a three-dimensional sustainable art sculpture. Okay, so this art sculpture that you're going to make needs to have some kind of sustainability feature in it. We didn't get a lot of time to talk about what those things were, but maybe you're going to have a synthetic wetland in your sculpture. Maybe you'll have gray water coming from the bottom and coming and dripping down through. Maybe you're going to cover it with plants so that the sun doesn't get into the sculpture quite as it can actually make it cooler. Maybe you're going to have it so that there's a place for people to sit inside your sculpture, and that's going to be a lovely place for them to be. You can come up with all kinds of things. You're going to revisit the green building and look for some of those sustainability ideas. I would even draw some ideas down on paper about what you might want your sculpture to look like. But if you go into the city, the challenge is going to be find a place somewhere near the green building. But you know what? I'm kind of even okay with if you have to have your whole class trying to build these sculptures and somebody wants to make a gigantic sculpture, then go find a spot. And you can even use, is it ether pearl? I think it's ether pearl, isn't it, Colton, that you can teleport yourself back and forth? So if you use that, then you can actually build somewhere that you want to be and then have everybody teleport over to it to take a look at it. And so it really doesn't matter where you do it, but I want you to think and play, create and recreate. So there's a couple things to do here, Colton. I want you to think about, if we can get the next slide, I want you to think about color. So what kind of colors are you going to use? Do you want to use bright colors, dull colors? You can use analogous colors, ones that are right beside each other on the color wheel. You could use complementary colors, so they're the ones opposite each other on the color wheel. All those kind of things are going to make your sculpture really stand out. Go ahead. Taking a look at this, just by staying in the blue tones on this sculpture. Now, we're not expecting to see sculptures that are looking like this. I mean, hey, if you want to, that's amazing. But they stayed with the blue, and it kind of creates a mood for me. This one kind of feels a little nostalgic and a little melancholy when I look at this picture, look at this sculpture, okay? Think about form and space, okay? These are the art words that we want you to think about as well. Don't just have things that are in your sculpture and build it totally full. Think about having some negative space as well, some places that there's nothing, so some open places, and you can see that in this one sculpture as well. Think about line. Where do you want the eye to be drawn? In both of these, and the second one here too, Coulter, both of these, my eye goes from the bottom and I go up. And so if you click again there, Coulter, you'll see the second one come up. Same thing, right? The type of blocks that you use are going to really make the difference in what this sculpture is going to look like for you. Okay, next. And always, you want to have a focal point in your art. So your sculpture should draw the audience's eye to something. So in this case, for me, the rose is what I see. That's my focal point, and it's because that color is so vibrant for me. For somebody else out there, and we could have done this in the forum, right? We could say to you, where's the focal point in this picture for you? But for other people, it might just be the yellow that's on the palm of the hand. So whatever your sculpture ends up being, think about having that focal point. Think about space and form, and think about that sustainability part too, okay? So going in back, if we can, Coulter, let's go back over and let's find those resources. Okay, so you're going to be my hands now.
And this is great, Mary. Again, while Coulter is getting himself all set up, students, we've learned about recycling, recycled plants, recycled materials. We've learned about these sustainable buildings and everything that goes into them. Oh my gosh, we've learned about art. Your challenge is to be able to take all of that information and put it into your piece of art. And we have a team of judges that are going to be judging all of the submissions. Your teacher is going to get info on how you submit your builds. Don't worry about that right now. Just worry about what is your epic build going to look like. I'm excited to see what Coulter's epic build is going to be.
And the best part is right now Coulter is just going to go off and find some place to be. He doesn't have to worry about it because right now we're just playing. And a lot of you will just do that today. You'll just play and kind of figure out what sort of things you might like to use in your sculpture. You have until May 14th to come up with this sculpture. This is not at all having to be done today. This is just the start. So let's do it right here. Are you going to pick a side of a building, Coulter, or are you going to do it as a freestanding piece?
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to start throwing things on the side of the building.
Nice.
But I think either or would work fine for students out there.
Yeah.
I scouted out this side of the building right here earlier today. So I thought this might be a good spot. So we started with some plants there, but I can take those down and adjust this as I like.
So for those people that are new in Minecraft, to take things away, how are they going to do that?
Well, the first thing they're going to need to do, especially if they're in the sustainability world, is that they need to change it from adventure mode to creative mode so they can have unlimited inventory. So we do that by pressing escape on our keyboard. It's the top left button, ESC. Then we're going to click on settings. And then we're going to click on, it should say adventure mode there for you. It should look like this, right? And so this default game mode, we want to change to creative. And just for good measure, personal game mode, we want to change that to creative. Okay.
Perfect.
And then we're going to click on this arrow to go back to our world. And now I'm here. So I can now, oops, I got to get that out of my hand because that's my teleport tool there. So to destroy my items, my blocks, or to break my blocks, it should be a left click. And then it should be a right click for you to place your items. So if I wanted to clean up this space a little bit, and I recognize, there we go, then I might have to rebuild it. I'm just going to left click there and take away these items, and then I'm going to put them back eventually.
Right. And the other thing with this too, Coulter, is that as you're walking around in the city, take a look at the architecture that is here already too for some ideas, because there's been other people that have already been building in Minecraft that have been thinking about all these things. How are they using color? What patterns are they using? Do they have mosaics coming out in anything as well? So it's kind of neat. Okay, so Coulter, that's good. I think just if you go to the one spot there where you have it cleared, let's just show them a few little things that we've got going on, okay? Can we go into the blocks? So let's show them for sure how to get back into their resources.
We press the letter E to go to our inventory.
Perfect.
And then we want to find items and move them down to our toolbar. So Mary, what item are you going to ask me to pick up here?
I'd like the terracotta, the textured block. So yeah, that'd be great.
You can always search for terracotta. So if I just type it at the top there, I'm in the magnifying glass, and I can just search in there, and then I can see, if I hover my mouse over top, which terracotta I'd like to use. And today we're going to go green, lime, terracotta.
That's perfect. And so maybe I want to, yeah, I just wanted to have a few of those down on my base.
You down on the base.
Sure. And I mean, it doesn't matter. We're just for right now showing how amazing these different things can look, right? So it's kind of cool just to be thinking, okay, so can I make patterns from that? All right, so we have some there. So let's say that, can we build that up just a little bit farther as well? And I know that what I'd like to do, ooh, I like what you're doing. Do you notice that he's, yeah, setting up a pattern there as he's going up as well with the way that those yellow lines are moving. So is there a way to take those blocks and turn them sideways?
Not these ones in particular, but I can go in to my inventory and I can find some staircases.
Perfect.
So I can do some different stairs and I can change those. So let's do these ones because this one looks nice and colorful, goes with my theme maybe. I'm not the best at colors, to be honest with you, but I can now.
You're doing an amazing job, do not worry.
So I can now look to place these a little bit differently as well. And if I start to place them on top, we can see that now I've created some different space there.
That's right. So we're getting some spaces and negative space. And if we click on the side of a block, or the side of a stair as we're actually building, then that will actually change around, yeah, the direction that the stair is going to be as well. So it's kind of neat what you can do. And who knows? I mean, you could make a whole base out of those very cool colors as well. That's neat. And I like that you're leaving some spaces there too. Okay, well, let's, what about if we wanted to, along that side as it's going up, let's say that we wanted to add an item frame so that we want something to actually pop out a little bit more. So can we go back into our inventory? So we're going to click on E again.
And I'm going to look for an item frame. And an item frame is essentially a picture frame. So I'm going to get this picture frame here, and I'm going to place it in my inventory. I'll get my stuff out of the way. Now, if you need to remember, pressing numbers 1 to 9 will move you along your toolbar at the bottom. So if I press 1 to 9, and now I can go and place this item frame. Where would you like me to place it, Mary?
I think up on the top 2 ones up there. That would be great. Yeah, one up top there for sure. Wherever, Colton. Yeah, let's just play. Perfect. And one maybe, yeah, those look great. Okay, and so we can take any object we want. I was talking about sustainability earlier, and maybe for our sustainability feature, we do want to have a green vibe to this. So I do want some plants and some flowers. So can we maybe plant some flowers into those item frames? Oh, I like that yellow one, yeah. And so that would be number 4, wouldn't it, that you're going to click on? So I can create a pattern just even by using item blocks as well. And if you go sideways, if you can walk along the side there, Colton, can you show what happens? That those actually become 3D, don't they? If you can get in and show. Yeah.
See that, but they're popping out a little bit, right?
They do. Yep, they pop out some. And they could be on any side of a block too, can't they?
And they can be, yep. We can pop them. So we can take that item frame there, and we can maybe place it as my focal point, as you mentioned. Maybe we want to have a focal point, and I want to place it right there. So I can place it and then go in and find that item in my inventory that really, it might be a nice focal point for me. So let's see. I can always...
Yeah, something that really pops out, eh?
Hey, Mary.
Yeah.
And Walter. So my wheels are just turning now. Everything we've learned today. Recycled materials too. I'm going back to that and thinking like, what recycled materials are in Minecraft? Like, Coulter, are you able to like build maybe paper, like use a crafting table to create materials that we might also include in our build?
Yeah, we can definitely look to use that crafting table. We can even look to get a little bit more scientific and bring in our elements and take our elements and include our elements. A real simple one is if I combine, I know we can look for water, but if I combine some hydrogen and some oxygen, we can get some water and make a water fountain here and get some running water across this. So there's lots of different options. We can do even a little moat around here if I'd like. So you've got tons of different options to find recyclable material in here and really start utilizing some of these tools that we're learning about through our Earth Week.
Right, and throwing in beacons, throwing in transparent blocks, putting in fire, get some flint and start fires if you wanted to have that kind of thing happening. All those sort of things are all, the sky is the limit for you. That's what we really want you to think about, is that just play and think about sustainability, recycling, and a sculpture, and create. Just have fun creating.
I totally agree.
That's great. So maybe in the chat, in our forum, maybe we can find out from the students, just as we're finishing up here, that maybe they can tell us what is what's the best way of saying it? What is one of the neatest things they found so far that they think they might use in their build?
Or maybe they can help me out and tell me to throw something in here.
So perfect.
Yeah, share something that you would like me to try to add to my build. What do you think would accentuate my build? Do I need to make it taller? Do I need to make it wider or longer? Or what can I do to make it a little bit different and showcase some reusable materials?
Yes.
And as we're waiting for those responses to come in, so many students are asking, how do I enter the contest? How do I enter the contest? Your teacher will have all the info you need, and whether you're learning from in class or you're learning from home, you'll still be able to submit to the contest. So just hold tight on that. We'll get all that info out to your teacher. So.
Yes, and the teachers will actually get a copy too of the actual challenge completely, so with all kinds of detail in it as well. Oh, that looks so cool, Coulter. Look at that starting over there. Have you got some ideas? Has somebody given you some suggestions?
Rashid has suggested I add in some cardboard.
Nice.
Awesome, Rashid. Thank you for that suggestion.
And how do you make cardboard?
Rashid, maybe you can help us out. How might I be able to make some cardboard? What kind of material could I use?
I love that. How creative are students going to get? It's like, oh, I want to put in plastic. Oh, can you create plastic in Minecraft? Who knows? We'll see. But I have no idea how to create cardboard.
No, I don't either. I know it has to be trees of some kind, right? The trees have to do something to become the paper. Yeah. So look at them having fun there now.
I'm a bit of a perfectionist here, so now I want this to be symmetrical, and I need to make sure that it's out properly. And then I thought I got that water idea in my mind, so I'm going to try to build a little water hole here.
Right, and the water can even, the water can even be coming in the sculpture, can actually be coming through the sculpture too, which is, amazing.
We have, and Coulter, because I know you're busy building, so I'll let you know, Madame Pryor's class says, oh yeah, advice for you, you got to make it longer and higher. Harrison, the broken CD thing, because I know there's CDs in Minecraft, isn't there? But somehow incorporating those, great idea. Charlie says quartz pillars. Emery figures concrete. Solar panels, Coraline, great. Oh, I'm sorry, you said don't say your name. I didn't read that quick enough, but that is such a fabulous, fabulous suggestion. And leaves, bricks, so many great suggestions out there.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, if the top of a building is like a place you want to put a sculpture, feel free. We can go anywhere to take a look at sculptures, that's for sure.
And I know that I'm only building for a few moments here. You should keep in mind that you'll have lots of time to do this. So you can have time to destroy it, to build it again, to add things to it, to take away things from it. So it definitely doesn't just have to be, this is quite a minuscule sort of structure that I've built here. So we are looking forward to seeing definitely some bigger sculptures, some more elaborate ones. This is just an idea to get everyone moving and get everyone going and generate some ideas for themselves.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. And that's the thing. Oh, that's the other thing that you're showing there too, Coulter. That's another thing about focal point, right? Is that when you're right-clicking that article that's in the frame, then it will turn. So maybe you want everything angled one way, or you're having things, you know, pointing in towards one thing. You almost have a face there now. I see two eyes up above, and the two green things look like a smile. That's grand. All right. Any other suggestions there, Michelle, for what else we can do?
We've got Sid says using a composter. Oh, Dorian says cardboard, we create that with wood and you make it plank. So great. Oh, Mrs. Rouse's remarkable class is back. Welcome back, you guys. You can add glass with water. So many really great ideas. Thank you guys all so much.
I love that.
And I love what Coulter is showing right there now too. Look at all the beautiful colors of glass that you can use. Like there's just so many possibilities. Yeah.
And if you want a certain color, you can always search for that certain color. So say I want to add some blue. I can just type in blue and see all the blues that will come up for me. Or if I want to add in some pink, I can see all the pinks that are going to come up.
That's amazing. And that's a great way to narrow down your search as well.
And the creativity we're seeing coming in, I'm just loving the inspiration. Coulter, someone says you can use bamboo over the sunflowers to make it look like eyes and eyebrows.
Ooh. I like
Here
that.
it goes.
What an idea.
You turn the two blue flowers. Oh, that's great. Now it looks mad.
So now we're just sort of, again, creating those ideas and generating some thought for maybe what you would like to do when it's your turn. And if you're building already, that's amazing. Keep it going. However, as we sort of wrap things up today, we can definitely look forward to seeing what you've been able to create, and we want you to take your time with this. Hopefully you'll have a few weeks of being able to get onto your computer and to be able to build and craft and then share your ideas. I'm really excited to see what you as a student, because to be honest with you, as a teacher myself, I learn the most about Minecraft from you, the students. I'm always learning. You are my best PD that I can get from, because you provide me so much information. And I love having dialogue with students because you're so creative and insightful. So you can see as I continue to build, but don't let this just stop you. Think about maybe some redstone, or think about something else that you can try to incorporate into your sculpture that's going to build it and accentuate some of these reusable ideas. Feel free at any point to even label some things. So if you need to go into your inventory and take a sign down and grab a sign.
Because actually, Coulter, that is a very good idea, because we should always have an artist card and we should sign our sculptures, right? So you should have a spot where you can name your sculpture. Think about what the inspiration is for the name of it, and maybe, you know, who knows what it's going to end up being. But it might just be Whisperings of a Summer's Eve or whatever it happens to be, right? Who knows? But give it a title and sign it with your name for in your classroom is fine, or with a pseudonym if you want to as well, if you want it to be shared. But yeah, absolutely, you should have a plaque there to have your artist card right with your work, and that's really important for an artist to do that. So I'm loving the fact that I'm thinking, for me, somebody was mentioning about the ventilation as well. If we think about all the different things that are over in the sustainability building, up in the green building, you need to definitely go back and take another look to think about what features you can add in as well. Even thinking about that space that's going to be in your sculpture will help with that too.
Well, I hate to break it to us all, but we are almost out of time. Coulter, I think you'll have to take some time to finish your build. I wonder if we can pull that slide deck up just for a few last minute reminders, but that was just a ton of fun. Great job, Coulter.
Yes, thank you. That was amazing. And that's what I really like about this one, Michelle, is that this build is not quite the same as the other ones, right? We don't have to build a farm and all those things that go with it. This one is a creative outlet where people can just be an artist, right? Think about those things. Take a look around and think about what features you want to be putting into it, but think about those art things as well, right? What color are you using? What kind of line is happening? Do you have a focal point? All those sort of things are really important when we're going to be judging and taking a look at them, at the sculptures. And they don't have to be intricate and elaborate. It could be something incredibly simple but beautiful, right? So think it through, plan, replan, create, recreate. So this is great. So yeah, we want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today, and we hope that you've learned a lot and had fun and made some really cool discoveries. And we really hope that your build gets to continue on from now. So Michelle, I'll head it over to you, and I have to first of all though thank Coulter for everything he was doing there for me as well, for us, and Charity in the background. You did a marvelous job as well. That was great too. And Michelle, thank you as well for helping us out today too.
Absolutely. Thank you, all of you. Just on behalf of Cobblestone Collective, thank you, teachers, for being here. Thank you, students, for learning with us and teaching us. Thank you to the team here, Coulter and Mary and Charity. And of course, Dan Orr was here. Huge shout out to him. If you are interested in more of these lessons, we're running these lessons all week, but for sure, we hope you continue learning with us here at Cobblestone Collective. Thank you again so much for being here. You take care. Have a good night.